under Canada Temporary Foreign Worker Program. Under this program, a foreign worker can come to Canada for up to 2 years, with possible extension for 4 years. Sometimes there is a legal avenue in certain provinces where they can stay on a permanent basis and become Canadian permanent residents. The majority of our work is done through an agricultural section, and we usually hire butchers. Today we hired almost 2,000 from Ukraine, Philippines and Mauritius. That's where most of our workers come from.
Unfortunately, I think that labor brokers and the business of importing people for money is going to be an increased presence in the labor migration debate. And quite simply, the reason for that is the money, $305 billion. When labor brokers see that they have a potential to get access to that kind of money, whether it's by charging the employers or putting forth excessive or illegal fees on the migrant workers themselves, there's money to be made, they'll capitalize on it.
I completely disagree with Carl Flecker's point of view that Canada cannot be used as a model program for temporary foreign labor. It's one of the best that we have in the world. It's fair, it's regulated, it gives you a good platform to work under, and as a private recruitment agency you follow the guidelines, you work with reputable firms, and you do have an opportunity, to be reviewed, to be regulated, and the government pretty much has a lot of say in what you can and what you cannot do.
When labor brokers say that they're regulated and they're following the rules, sometimes they forget to mention that there are very few rules in Canada's temporary foreign worker program. So it's quite easy to say you're following 3 rules. They say you're going to have to pay the minimum employment standards. Well, the minimum employment standards are not necessarily the best employment standards.
I believe it's a win-win situation because the employers who have a lack of labor, they get a stable labor force. And at the same time, we give an opportunity to workers to come to Canada, make some money, save, support their families, and eventually either return to their country and better their lives, or to stay in Canada and as permanent residents and bring their families and start a new life altogether.
When you take a look at some of the benefits that labor brokers talk about, that the costs are borne by the employers or that they might get a chance for citizenship, that's very dependent upon what stream of the immigration pathway they're coming into Canada on. If you were coming in as a low-skilled worker under the temporary foreign worker program, your pathways to permanent residency are extremely limited. And I'm not so sure that all brokers are very clear about that when they're talking to prospective migrants.
At the end of the day, under Canadian Temporary Foreign Worker Program, workers from disadvantaged countries are not allowed to come to Canada. This is the refugee cases, and this is a different program, and we don't work under that program. So the belief is, if the worker comes to Canada, in order to receive a visa, there has to be a firm belief on the Canadian government side that that worker will return at the end of the term to their country. And this is how we operate.
You also have to take a look at it. Their business model is predicated on buying and selling human beings. It's nothing more than that. Profiting from human cargo. You can color it up differently and say that they're providing a service, but they're buying and selling people. And why is that an issue? We need to be concerned with the task of nation building, which is something that governments do. That's a government responsibility to select its citizens, determine the skill sets, ensure that families are together, to accommodate those who are seeking asylum. Those are functions of the state. I don't believe that we should be outsourcing that to private enterprise for a buck.